Walaikum salam.
Right. So I think we have covered this topic. We will work on this. The synthesis of isoquinolide alkaloids. We were on these slides.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right. So just a quick review that you have already come across the biosynthesis of pyrroles or commonly called pyrrolidine alkaloids. So it starts with a phenylalanine to result in the formation of phenethylamine, which is a class of the natural products. You shall today come across a few examples from this. Similarly, I also come across that if ornithine is the amino acid, so ultimately to this component which we are having at this place. This is the compound for 12 number. This is the basic precursor of a variety of alkaloids. Today I shall show you this type of alkaloids. And similarly, it can further undergo decarboxylase and remove carbon dioxide. So this one, and you can see tropinone is an alkali. Today I shall show you. This is a very important component, and it leads to the formation of a variety of other natural products. So I shall show you this again as well. So these are the pyrrolidine alkali, mean 5 carbon containing cyclic uh, alkaloids. And next, I have, this is the just an example that how pyrrolidine alkaloid, another precursor. This is not the ornithine you can see. This is proline, asproline. So asproline is also been synthesized. You can see what is the precursor of ornithine. We have CH2, 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 NH2. Just if I go back and show you, look at ornithine. It has CH2, 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 NH2. Here it is S. So here this group is living. This becomes our living group and this nitrogen approach here. But interesting feature is this, that where this group leave, the nitrogen approach from the same site. This is interesting. No Walden inversion is taking place in this. This is the interesting role. This is S-ornithine, and you can see this is S-proline. This is that nitrogen. This S-proline is originating from ornithine, basically. This is not following the essential 20 amino acids required for humans for protein synthesis. This proline is not involved in that, but plants produces. Plants and some other animals may be utilizing the asproline. So this is originating from ornithine. This nitrogen, which is present NH2 at this position, leaves, but it is not a Walden inversion taking place. It is not SN2 mechanism. This is SNI mechanism is following in this, which the enzymes are controlling it. This is the interesting feature that from S-ornithine, asproline is synthesized by the plants. So this is under the control of enzymes. I exemplify this, that how this ornithine converts into this compound number 3 to dehydrogenase, removes 2 double bond. These are the oxidase, basically, because removal of hydrogen is also oxidation. So 2 hydrogen leave from here, 2 hydrogen leaves generate these double bonds. Similarly, bromine substitute these 2 hydrogen. This is electrophilic substitution. This is taking place in water, marine water. This is histidine, another amino acid. You see, this is in fact N1. This is nitrogen, first, second, third. So this is the group which is a very special group attached with it. This is called histidine. This is another amino acid, natural amino acid. So similarly, I have the processes what takes place and it converts into this 5. So these 3 and 5 reacts with each other to form this 6, which undergo electrophilic cyclization to result in the formation of this stevincine, which is a alkaloid. It has been isolated from. So this is one example I have presented from that. I shall present so many other examples. Similarly, I have presented the biosynthesis of isoquinoline alkaloids. Precursor is S-tyrosine. S-tyrosine undergo decarboxylation in the presence of pyridoxal phosphate. It causes the decarboxylation. So carbon dioxide comes out from this, generates this entity. This is called And secondly, hydroxylase. Hydroxylase cause hydroxylation at this position and this position. Both of these two positions are identical. So anyone can go and result in the formation of hydroxylation. So this entity is called dopamine, right? So this is dopamine. And similarly, S-dopa. S-dopa is what? This is basically, if you have a tyrosine, tyrosine undergo the hydroxylase action. So we shall get a hydroxylation here. So tyrosine can also be converted into, this is called dopa, S-dopa, dioxyphenylalanine. Mean dihydroxy, basically. This dopa is very famous, but this is this is basically called long time ago dopa, when nomenclature was not that much fine. So this is originating from tyrosine, dopa, and dopa can undergo just simple decarboxylation to result in the here first decarboxylation taking place, then hydroxylase is working. Here first tyrosine undergo hydroxylase action to generate dopa, then dopa undergoes second in the presence of pyridoxal phosphate to undergo decarboxylation, resulting in this. Both of these results in the formation of an entity that will commonly referred as a dopamine. This dopamine further undergo a variety of reaction. So anyhow, first of all, these two number, the dopa undergo transaminase result, and it removes this one to carbonyl, right? So this is the DHPP, dihydroxyphenyl. Basically, this is phenyl pyruvate. If you remember, carboxylic, next carbonyl, and CH3. This is the product obtained from glycolysis, if you remember. This is called DHPP. So this entity further reacts with this compound dopamine. This is having a NH2 group. This is having a keto group. So ketones and these results in the formation of Schiff bases. Carbon nitrogen double bond is this generate, and it undergo electrophilic cyclization to result in the formation of the six-membered ring. Then 4 times SAM works and results in the formation of methylation at this position, and oxidase may remove hydrogens from these two positions, result in two double bonds here. So this is the SAM action for methoxy at these positions, and we are having two hydrogens undergo. Similarly, the 7 can also undergo into the formation of a variety of these compounds. Let's say I have presented some of the natural products in which this compound number 7 converts into 9, 10, 11, 12 by the action of different SAM. And similarly, it doesn't undergo such type of removal. Let's say I have presented R, and R. So these two R's are at para positions, and these are the two R's, blue color, at meta positions, right? And this is an R in magenta color, which is attached with the nitrogen. So what happened in reticulin? This is the natural product which is isolated. How it is synthesized? Here R, this R, and this both of these are red and magenta. These two are basically methyl, and this R is hydrogen. So it means these hydrogens which are present at meta, these two, this doesn't undergo the action with SAM, these two and this one. So 3 SAM reacts and we get a alkyl group here, we get an methyl here, a methyl here after SAM action. So no, this is our OH. This is called reticulin. This is a natural product isolated, right? And similarly, norreticulin, this is another natural product which is derived from this reticulinaria, which is the name of a plant, and in which this R is methyl, mean action of SAM is just 2 SAM works and converts this into methyl, and this is H and this is H as well. R blue and R magenta, this one and this one is hydrogen. This is called norreticulin. And similarly, look at another one, which is called norlaudensolene. In all of them, these are hydrogens, just similar to this. Mean, but stereochemistry is important here. Here I haven't presented This group may be above the plane, this may be below the plane, but here this group, phenyl benzyl group, this is basically above the plane. In some of the natural product, you may find this may be behind the plane, in fact. All right. So this is the natural product in which all of these are hydrogens. And in last one, laudansolene, this one, you see, these are not same name, they are different. This is then denosoline, this is denosine. So these are the two different natural products, in fact. So here R and R mean these two, this one and this one, they are alkyl, so mean methyl, and this is hydrogen. So these are a few different natural products I have presented you, which are being isolated. In some of the natural products, you may have, this is an asymmetric center, this group may be behind the plate. And similarly, this may also undergo, not all of them are undergoing methylation, maybe this is undergoing methylation, this one is going, these two are not going, or these two are going methylation, these two are not going. Such many natural products are also being reported. So this is just, I have presented the two different kind of, three different kind of alkalides, one phenethylamine, second pyrrole, and thirdly, I have presented isoquinoline alkaloids. So these are the biosynthesis of three, rest of the other like pyridine, quinoline, indole, and steroidal something, you shall see yourself. So they are not very different from each other. So because we are, this is the last week of teaching, we are far behind our target. So I shall prefer to complete, but I doubt that we shall not be able to complete the alkaloid in this week. So I shall include the practical hour this week as well, inshallah. So this is what you have come across earlier, but I have exemplified, these were additional, a few examples in this case. But these are not the only, there are so many other dozens of natural products with these nucleus are being reported. So I shall start with right now. I shall start with right now the phenythyl alkaloid, phenethylamine alkaloids. So first of all, let's say if I present here, it disappear. All right, so this is the very first type of alkaloid I am interested to present. Ephedrine, you are familiar with. Ephedrine, the structure of it has four different isomers possible. Look at here, we have a phenyl. In phenethylamine, we have a phenyl group, we have a ethyl group, all right? And this ethyl group is further bonded with something else, a nitrogen, which is this one. You see here, one methyl is additional. You see here, one methyl is additional. All right. So this methyl is additional. This nitrogen is bonded. This is the nucleus you have come across, a phenyl, a CH2 group, and a nitrogen. This is what you have come across. But what happened in ephedrine? Ephedrine have this structure. It have a hydroxyl at this position, and it have a methyl group present at this position. Now, there are four isomers possible. You see, I have presented, these are the two isomers in which OH and this nitrogen amino group, they are above the plane. Definitely, this methyl and nitrogen is coming from sand, right? So what is the origin of this? If you remember how this is being synthesized, maybe I have the biosynthesis of this. Yeah, I have a biosynthesis of this already. So look at here, the precursor for the type of the analog alkali phenethylamine is phenylalanine. If you phenyl group, CH2, NH2 group at the same position, a carboxylic group at this position. This carboxylic seems to be reduced. It reduced from carboxylic to CH2OH, and then it undergo phosphate moiety. Phosphate gets attached, making it a good living group. A hydride you have come across, NADPH or FADH2, that reduces this group and attach a hydride here as well. So I shall show the biosynthesis of this. So it is originating from phenylalanine, but we are having a NH2 group present here. But here you see this is opposite. This is a group which is basically present in a different situation. We have a NH2 behind the plane. So both of these are OH, and in the last step, you shall see the hydroxylase can bring out a replace hydrogen by OH group. So these are the actions which are taking place. Biosynthesis. You shall see next slide. This is one of the isomer, which is called RR ephedrine. But this is commonly called, this is the Fischer projection I have presented. We have a methyl group present at this position. We have a phenyl group present at this position. And these two groups are opposite that I have presented here with opposite. This group is R. This is also R. Now you can see this Fischer projection and this Fischer projection are mirror image. If I present a mirror here, this OH, OH, hydrogen, hydrogen, NH, methyl, opposite, hydrogen, hydrogen. You see, these are the mirror image of each. It means they are in enantiomers. If they are in enantiomer, definitely they shall have totally opposite absolute configuration. If these are RR, these to be SS. These to be SS mean if this is above the plane, both of these shall be behind the plane. So these two isomers are opposite to each other. They are enantiomers. If one of them is dextrorotatory, other shall be levorotatory. So I have presented here this isomer, which is RR isomer. This is commonly called D. D stands for relative configuration, which is just like D glucose. You have minus sign show it is optical rotation. This is D with negative sign, mean this is levorotatory. Pseudoephedrine. So what mean by pseudoephedrine? Pseudo means this is not true. True ephedrine. Not true ephedrine. Pseudoephedrine mean not true ephedrine. This is in between something. So pseudopodia, you have gone wrong pods in the amoeba in biological science. This is pseudoephedrine. Mean wrong ephedrine. Mean this is not ephedrine. Ephedrine is something else. This is ephedrine, in fact, that we normally deal with. SR isomer is called ephedrine. And L-ephedrine is important, not D-ephedrine. L-ephedrine is naturally common, which I shall present, but all four isomers are being isolated from different plants. So this is D-pseudoephedrine, and is other enantiomer of this is L. This is D. This is L. This is levorotatory. This is dextrorotatory. This is also called pseudoephedrine. Both of these are pseudoephedrine, but this is D-pseudoephedrine. This is L-pseudoephedrine. And these are their Fischer projection I have presented. These are the wedge head projections. All right. So similarly, now two other isomers are also possible. If this OH is above the plane, this is behind the plane, or this is behind the plane and this is above the plane. These two isomers are presented here. This is RR, this is RS, this is SR. This is totally opposite. You can see these are the Fischer projection of these two I have presented. These, if I place a mirror here, they are mirror image of each. So if this is RS, this is SR, total opposite absolute configuration. It means these two are enantiomers of each. If this is D-ephedrine, negative show this is levorotatory, and this is L-ephedrine, which is dextrorotatory. So this dextrorotatory ephedrine is basically called as ephedrine normally. In fact, keeping in mind there are four different enantiomers of ephedrine. All four are isolated, but what we normally call, you read in the papers and in many pharmaceutical industry, ephedrine. Ephedrine is an anti-cough agent. It helps in the bronchitis. Bronchitis is a disease in which the windpipe dilates. It basically squeezes. When it squeezes, so less air enter. As a result, to meet the deficiency of oxygen, the lungs work with faster rate. When the lungs are working with faster rate, so we call that this is a sign that we call asthma. This disease is called bronchitis. Asthma is the another other name given to this, which is more severe. So it may lead, asthma may lead to a very severe side effects. So anyhow, ephedrine is useful. What is the role of ephedrine? The role of ephedrine is that ephedrine dilates the windpipe, bronchi. It dilates them, mean it's they are squeezed, I mean they are contracted, it expands them. It expands them. So when expansion takes place, the normal air goes more, and these symptoms of the asthma or the bronchitis basically decreases. This is the diagram I have. This is the photograph of ephedra plant. Basically, this ephedrine, this is common, this is biologically active. You see, there are 4 isomers. All 4 isomers has been isolated. All 4 isomers had been isolated from the plants. But what we call ephedrine, anti-bronchitis is or anti-asthma is this isomer. This isomer is derived from a plant which named Ephedra sinica. This is the plant Ephedra sinica. This is the photograph of that, but you can find there is a tiny bug is also present here, an insect which is present on this and flying on that. This is also been present here. These are the flowers. These are the buds. So these buds, if we cut from here and grow in the plant, they shall again cut, which is called vegetative propagation method of reproduction. So these are the buds, just like the buds of the sugarcane, or you have come across many other buds. If we cut these plants in these sections, so these shall grow as a complete plant. These are the flowers. You can see small petals, and these are the flower. So this plant overall, all parts of the plant, it is not a big plant. It is small herbs type, small plant. So these are containing ephedrine, in fact, which is this one. So in Chinese, this is the plant which is of Chinese origin. Ephedrine has been used from BC, before Christianity, mean before 2000 years back. This has been used to treat asthma. So this plant extract was used to treat asthma. This was used in the form of these plant material are dried, and their tea is being formed. They are boiled in water, and that tea is being used as a remedy, because Chinese are very using teas in a variety of teas. So they make tea of these, and the infected person are being given this, which feels quite relaxed. In Chinese language, this plant is called Ma Huang. Ma Huang. This is the name in Chinese, but biological name, botanical name is Ephedra sinica. And its optical rotation is, this is, if you remember, this is basically, what should I call? I think I have written the optical rotation. Let me confirm this. Sorry, I should replace these 2 isomers. Basically, this is levorotatory, which is this one, D-ephedrine. This ephedrine, which is presented 3, it is not this isomer which is biologically active. It is this isomer. So in the slides, when I shall share with you this week, so I shall get them interchanged. So this is the component, D-ephedrine. is basically biologically active, which is lever rotatory, not dextro rotatory, right? So ephedrine, basically it is a lever rotatory, which is this one, right? It is not this one. So it is making confusion that this isomer is biologically active, but in fact it is this one, right? So I shall get them interchanged with each other. So you shall have this one ephedrine. This ephedrine is biologically active, in fact, not the this one. Next, it's boiling, and look at here, its melting point is very small, 38 degrees Celsius. Look at here, this is a very interesting boiling point, sorry, melting point. So if you put these crystals of these on your hand, on your palm temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Almost it shall melt at this on your palm. Especially in winter, it exists in solid state, but when it is summer, it exists in liquid state. This is having a very unique feature. So you can observe, this is the plant ephedrine, from which basically these component comes out. And we are having a few seconds remaining, and we shall log in again to get this finished this lecture. Ephedrine is the last remedy in treating asthma and bronchitis, right? So this is an alkaloid which is of high interest in the medical sciences for treating this type of the biological disorder, especially asthma and bronchitis. So we shall log in again.